$500 billion. One man. One obsession. But this isn't a story about money. It's a story about obsession so deep it burned through fear, failure, and ridicule. An obsession that turned a bullied kid from South Africa into the wealthiest man alive. Elon Musk, the $500 billion man. But before rockets, before Teslas, before the headlines and fortune, there was silence, loneliness, and an obsession no one else could see. Pretoria, 1971. Elon is born into a family of contrasts. A brilliant mother, May, modeling to support the family. A stern father, Errol, cold and often harsh. Elon, a boy lost in his mind, quiet, awkward, so absent in thought that teachers once believed he was deaf. Other kids mocked him, bullied him. One day, a gang of boys threw him down concrete stairs and beat him until his face was swollen shut. But while the world outside was hostile, Elon's refuge was books. He devoured science fiction, Dune, the Foundation series, Hitchhiker's Guide. Worlds that weren't but could be. Books became his escape, and then his blueprint, because while others dreamed, Elon planned. And deep inside, obsession took root. Age 12, most kids were glued to video games. Elon, he built one. A simple space shooter called Blastar. He sold it for $500. It wasn't about the money, it was about possibility, creation. A glimpse of what obsession could produce. But his home life remained difficult. His father's anger weighed on him. His isolation deepened. By his teenage years, Elon wasn't dreaming of comfort. He was dreaming of saving humanity, colonizing Mars, solving energy, reshaping the future of mankind. Dreams that felt impossible. Dreams too big for South Africa. At 17, Elon made a choice. Leave. Leave South Africa. Leave behind family, safety, familiarity. Armed with nothing but a backpack and his obsession, he moved to Canada. His first jobs, cleaning boilers, shoveling dirt, manual labor that blistered his hands and drained his body. But the vision burned brighter. He slept in cheap rentals, skipped meals, read obsessively. Canada was only a stepping stone. The real target was America, the land of innovation, the only country big enough for his dreams. By his 20s, Elon made it to the U.S., the University of Pennsylvania. Physics, economics, but more importantly, clarity. He began sketching plans for 3 revolutions: the internet, renewable energy, space exploration. 3 obsessions, 3 impossible mountains, but he wasn't afraid, because obsession doesn't wait, it consumes. 1995, Elon arrives at Stanford for a PhD in physics. 2 days in, he walks out. Why? Because the internet was exploding, and obsession doesn't sit in lecture halls. While his peers stayed in class, Elon threw himself into the digital frontier. He had no apartment, no comfort, only obsession. Elon and his brother Kimball founded their first company, Zip2. Their office was tiny, money was non-existent, so Elon slept on the floor, showered at the YMCA, coded through the night. When investors turned him down, he didn't quit. He cold-called, door to door, pitching online maps before Google Maps existed. Rejection piled up, but obsession doesn't care about rejection. It only cares about the mission. Years of grinding, years of failure, and then a break. Compaq acquired Zip2 for $307 million. Elon walked away with $22 million at just 27 years old. Most would have stopped there, retired young, lived easy. But obsession doesn't stop. It only demands more. Because the $22 million wasn't the end of the story. It was only the beginning. Elon is about to risk it all, again, to build something bigger, to step into finance, to rewrite how money moved. And that decision would take him to the edge of ruin, again.
1999. Elon takes nearly all his Zip2 fortune and launches X.com. The idea? an online bank. Money that moves across the internet as easily as email. Today, it sounds obvious, but back then, it was insane. Banks laughed, investors doubted, consumers didn't trust the internet with their money. But obsession doesn't need approval. It needs action. Elon poured millions into servers, engineers, late nights, and endless lines of code. He believed the future of money lived online. X.com grew fast, but so did conflict. Elon's style? Intense, demanding. He expected others to match his pace, his obsession. Not everyone could. Clashes erupted. Boards grew restless. Eventually, X.com merged with Confinity, a rival with its own payment system. Together, they became PayPal. It was a rocket ship, but Elon wasn't in control for long. 2000. While Elon was away on vacation, his first in years, PayPal's board voted. He was out as CEO. Imagine it, your company, your vision, and the board strips it from you while you're on a plane. Most would have quit. Most would have walked away. Elon didn't. He stayed. He worked. He pushed. Because obsession doesn't vanish with rejection. It digs deeper. 2002. eBay acquires PayPal for $1.5 billion. Elon walks away with $180 million. Now, Elon Musk was rich beyond imagination. He could have retired for life. Luxury, comfort, security. But remember the principle? Obsession beats intelligence. Comfort kills ambition. Elon wasn't chasing comfort. He was chasing humanity's future. And with $180 million in his account, he was ready to bet it all again. SpaceX, Tesla. Two names that sound inevitable today, but in 2002, they sounded like jokes. Space exploration had chewed up billions and spit out failures. And electric cars? Dead on arrival? The auto industry laughed. Wall Street sneered. The media mocked him. But Elon didn't care. Because obsession doesn't care about ridicule. It only cares about the mission. 2002. Elon found SpaceX. The goal? Colonize Mars. He wasn't thinking about satellites or contracts or incremental wins. He was thinking about humanity, about survival. And to him, survival meant becoming a multiplanetary species. He recruited engineers, bought warehouses, started building rockets from scratch. Failure after failure followed, but we'll get there. 2004. Elon invests in Tesla, a small electric car startup. At the time, electric cars were seen as toys, slow, ugly, impractical. The big automakers controlled the roads. No one believed a tiny startup could compete. But Elon didn't care. He saw what others didn't. A future of sleek, powerful, zero-emission cars. He poured in his money and his obsession. But here's the truth. Both companies bled money. Every rocket test was millions burned. Every Tesla prototype drained cash. Investors pulled out. The press mocked him. Headlines read, Elon Musk is crazy. But obsession doesn't care about headlines. It keeps moving forward. 2006, SpaceX first launch, failure. 2007, second launch, failure. 2008, third launch, failure. Millions gone, years gone, and one chance left. One rocket left. If it failed, SpaceX would die. At the same time, Tesla was collapsing. Delays, production chaos, money running out. Elon had burned through nearly all $180 million. He had nothing left. He was borrowing money from friends just to pay rent. The richest young entrepreneur in Silicon Valley was broke. December, Tesla on the verge of bankruptcy. SpaceX down to its last shot. One final launch, one final chance. everything on the line. The rocket ignited. The world held its breath. Would it fail again? Would everything Elon had obsessed over burn before his eyes? Or would this be the moment obsession finally paid off?
December 2008. The world was in chaos. Markets collapsing, jobs vanishing, fortunes destroyed, and one man stood on the edge of total ruin. Elon Musk. Broke, mocked, down to one last rocket. The air was thick with tension. SpaceX had failed 3 times. 3 rockets, 3 explosions, 3 humiliations. Now everything rested on Falcon 1. If this launch failed, SpaceX was finished, Tesla was finished, Elon Musk was finished. The countdown began. 10, 9, 8. Engines roared. The rocket lifted, slowly, powerfully. The world held its breath. Would it explode? Would it die in the sky like the last 3? Minutes felt like hours. Seconds felt like eternity. And then it reached orbit. Success. Finally. Tears streamed down Elon's face. His team erupted in cheers. For years, people had called him insane. For years, he had risked everything. And in that moment, he proved them wrong. Days later, the impossible happened. NASA signed a $1.6 billion contract with SpaceX. Billions to build and deliver cargo to the International Space Station. SpaceX was alive. Elon was alive. The dream of Mars was alive. But it wasn't just rockets. At the same time, Tesla was running on fumes. Investors had fled. The company was bleeding. Then, in a stroke of timing that felt miraculous, Tesla secured last-minute funding. Both companies, SpaceX and Tesla, had been saved within the same week. The darkest days had hit. But Elon, he didn't celebrate for long, because obsession doesn't stop at survival. It wants more. 2012, Tesla launched the Model S. Sleek, fast, unlike any electric car before it. Critics who once mocked electric cars as toys were now calling Tesla the future. Then came the Model 3, affordable, stylish, accessible to millions. Tesla wasn't just a car company, it was a movement. And Elon, he wasn't just an entrepreneur, he was a revolutionary. Meanwhile, SpaceX was rewriting history. 2012, Dragon capsule delivers cargo to the ISS. 2015, Falcon 9 lands, the first reusable rocket. 2018, Falcon Heavy launches, the most powerful rockets in Saturn V. Billions saved. The space industry changed forever. Elon Musk had done what governments and giants couldn't, and he wasn't stopping. Solar City, Neuralink, The Boring Company, energy, brains, cities. Elon was spreading obsession across industries. Every project seemed impossible. Every project was mocked, and every project pushed humanity forward. 2020, Tesla's stock exploded. SpaceX kept winning contracts, and Elon Musk became the richest man in the world. Not once, not twice, but multiple times. His net worth soared past $500 billion, $500 billion. The bullied kid from Pretoria, the man who slept on office floors, the entrepreneur who nearly lost everything. Now the richest man alive. It wasn't luck. It wasn't genius alone. It was obsession. Obsession that refused to quit. Obsession that risked everything over and over again. Obsession that turned failure into fuel. Because billionaires aren't built on comfort. They're built on obsession. So what do we learn from Elon Musk's relentless rise? Lesson number 1,
Obsession beats intelligence. You don't have to be the smartest. You just have to be the most relentless. Lesson number 2. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. Every time Elon had enough to retire, he risked it again. Why? Because comfort kills ambition. Lesson number 3. Failure is just data. 3 rockets exploded. He didn't quit. He treated failure like a teacher. Lesson number 4. Vision outlasts ridicule. They laughed at electric cars. They laughed at private rockets. Now they drive Teslas and fly on SpaceX. And lesson number 5. Legacy is worth more than money. Elon isn't chasing billions. He is chasing Mars. So here's the question for you. What's your obsession? What's the dream you're willing to sleep on the floor for? What's the mission you'll fight for even when the world laughs? Because billionaires aren't built on luck. They're built on obsession. And the only thing separating you from the life you want is whether your obsession is stronger than your excuses. So will you choose comfort or will you choose obsession? Because the future belongs to the obsessed.
If this story moved you, if it lit a fire inside you, then don't just watch from the sidelines. Subscribe now. Because here, we don't just tell stories. We uncover the obsessions, sacrifices, and visions that built the future. Hit subscribe, join the journey, and let's build legacies together.